You know, we could all use some encouragement. And I've got some good news for you. Welcome to 5 Minutes with Mark. Hey, welcome back to 5 Minutes with Mark. We're going to pick up the story, Gospel of Mark, chapter 14, at verse 48. I remember the mob has just come. They've taken Jesus into custody. And then Jesus answered and said to them, "Have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs to take me? I was daily with you in the temple teaching, and you did not seize me. But the scriptures must be fulfilled." Then they all forsook him and fled. Wow. Jesus points out to this temple guard, these guys who have come to arrest him, you could have done this any time. It's not like I wasn't there, not like I wasn't in the temple. I've been in the temple every day. And what he's pointing out is their fearfulness, their hypocrisy, and the shameful way that they're setting him up. They didn't come with an arrest warrant while he was teaching in the temple and say, "We've come to take you into custody, sir." They wait until he's in a quiet place at night, out of the way. They've been led by one of his own people who has betrayed him because he doesn't understand what the real purpose of Jesus' ministry is. And they go in armed to the teeth as much as they can be to take this dangerous criminal into custody behind everybody's back. And Jesus calls them out. Look, he says, "What are you guys doing? Really? You're coming out to get me as if I was a common criminal, as if I was a thief or a robber. You're coming expecting trouble when all I've done is stand in your midst, teach in the temple day after day after day, heal the sick, cast demons out of the demon-possessed, do all of the things that you, as the religious and spiritual leaders of Israel, should have been doing in your presence, and you're going to come out here in the dark and drag me away." Great. The opposition against Jesus in the first century, when this goes down at ground zero, was one of great fear. They were afraid of him because they knew that if he decided to create the insurrection, he had the power, he had the following, he had the charisma, he had everything he needed to turn their world upside down. They knew he was very popular. Remember, just a week before, he had triumphantly entered into Jerusalem. People were calling him Son of David, laying palm branches on the ground in front of him. He had an incredible following at this time. And so they knew, the chief priest knew that, to try to take him publicly was going to risk a big conflict. And the last thing anybody wanted was a big conflict at Passover when Rome, the Roman overlords, are on high alert and are ready for trouble of any kind. The Jews had a way of creating problems for Rome, and Rome was pretty tired of dealing with them. And so we know that the security was beefed up. Pilate himself is in town. His normal residence was down in Caesarea Philippi, down on the coast. But he's in Jerusalem because this is a big deal. People are in from all over. And that's why the chief priest have to figure out a way to quietly slip Jesus into custody and quietly move him through some kind of justice system so that they can get rid of him before people even really know what's going on. That's really the plan. Let's get rid of Jesus before anybody knows what's happening. We don't want to risk an uprising. In our world today, I think there's still that great mistrust of Jesus, certainly of Christianity as an institution, and rightfully so. I mean, our history is not without tarnish and blemish. Just study it. That misunderstanding of who Jesus is and what he's all about is still very strong in our culture. And there are a lot of people who would just like Jesus to quietly go away. If we could just make this Christianity stuff quietly go away, the world would be such a better place. It's not true. It wasn't true then, it's not true now. But when people don't understand, that's the natural course of things. We have to get rid of this. And it would be best if we could get rid of it and nobody knows. I think a lot of attacks on our faith, again, not on the institution. The institution probably needs some attacking. But our faith is being attacked on a lot of different spiritual fronts, a lot of political fronts, a lot of sociological fronts right now. And I think we have to be willing, like Jesus, to stand in our moment, to endure what we are facing, because there's a culmination to all of this. And it's not going to be easy. It was not easy for Jesus. Jesus was a man. One of the things Mark's gospel makes abundantly clear, Jesus was a man. He was a real human being. His ego had to be in conflict because he knew he could look at these guys. He could say the word and kill them all. He could call fire down from heaven and just consume them like Elijah had done and just go on with it. But he had to endure the cross. That was the plan, which means he has to endure the indignity of this arrest, this in some quiet, remote place, this whole sham of a justice system that he's being put into. He had to endure that. And I think we as followers of Jesus must understand that we too must endure and stand firm in our faith even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's difficult, even when we don't want to anymore, even when it looks like the whole thing is off the rails and over the cliff. I think that's when we have to stand even stronger. Love even more, have more compassion, and be willing to engage the world around us with the truth of Jesus, not with our well-polished ministry, but with the truth of the gospel, that the God of the universe loved us enough to allow himself to be led away in the dark and ultimately killed. That is the gospel. See you next time. Hey friends, I'm so glad that you're enjoying this Bible study. And I hope that you'll like it and that you'll share it with others, either by word of mouth or forward the link that's here. Make sure we get the good news of Jesus out to as many people as we can, and hopefully this is a way that's engaging, entertaining, and encouraging along the way. It really is good news. And if you want to know more about me, check out my website, theeclecticmonk.com. See you soon.